Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? We are back again with a new review. Today we are taking a look at the Medicom Mafex Spider-Gwen with Spider-Ham. We're going to go ahead and move our Gwen Stacy out of here for just a moment and take a closer look at the included Spider-Ham first. So here we have Peter Porker with his included mallet holding arm and one of his thwipping hands. Now he is fairly small compared to the Marvel Legends or any other Spider-Ham figures you may have, but funnily enough, this included accessory has probably more than the purchasable figures of this character here. We do have a nice clear stand attached to the back of his ankles to keep him balanced, which doesn't look too bad as long as you can get it in the right lighting. So he stands up without a problem here. We do have his spider symbol picked out in nice paint, as well as his different eyes. Coming around to the back, we do also have the back spider symbol picked out there. Belt goes all the way around, and then there's his little curly Q tail. His mallet, let's go ahead and take his arm off right here and get a closer look at this accessory. His mallet is nicely sculpted in that cartoony style, with paint all around. And as you can see on his hand here, he does actually have some nice wash there to kind of pick out the web lines. So we will set that to the side. And as you heard correctly, he does have swappable arms. He comes included with a second thwipping hand, as well as two sets of curled fists. And these are super simple to pop out. It's just on a little peg, and you plug the new one in. Do be a little careful because, as you can see, these are fairly thin, but there's not enough friction in here to cause any worry. They aren't loose at all, but they are fairly easy to change out. His head is on a ball joint, so you can get your tilts and have him looking around and doing whatever you want. You can have him doing the nice hero pose, or say he just got in a fight, he can rub his face. So nice little pack in there. Go ahead and get Spider-Ham set aside and bring Gwen Stacy back into the light here. And once again, this is from the Into the Spiderverse movie, so they do have the style of more of a cartoonish look, although you could probably fudge her into your comic lines if you so choose. Getting her face close in there, we do have the nice pixelization around the eyes where her little pink hue comes in. As you can see, her hood on the inside has that nice pink paint, as well as the webbing on her arms. You do get that nice pink section with the blue webbing included in there, looking nice and clean, and that is on both arms. We do have her Spiderverse look, so the spider logo is a little bit different than it is in the comics, but as you can see, that is nice clean application all the way through. She does have her ballet slippers. And there is also a very nice texture to the black section all throughout her costume. You get a nice kind of, not quite basketball texture, but it's something tactile, which does feel pretty good. The web lines on her arms here are also sculpted in ever so slightly, but they left it a little bit soft just to keep with that cartoon continuity. On the back, we do have her spider symbol still. Only thing that does irk me a little bit is we do have that copyright logo right there. So that's a little irritating, but at least it's on the back diaphragm on the back of the figure. Most of the time you're going to have that covered up. So not the worst place to put it. I would like to get to a point where we don't have to have the copyright logos on the actual figures, and instead just leave them on the packaging, but laws and money, always fun. So let's get into articulation here. We are starting off with Gwen with her hood on. So with her hood on, you see I just popped her head off there. It's a little stiff. Pop that right back on. With her hood on, Gwen can look up that far. She can look down that far. So little bit hindering with this hood, but not terrible. You do get a lot of nice side-to-side tilt. And of course, with tilt also comes rotation. We do have that standard Mafex butterfly joint in here where that is attached to a ball. So you can get that going up, you can get that down, it'll shift back, it'll shift forward, pretty much anything you need that to do. And with that ball joint in there on the butterfly, her arms can raise past 90. With the butterfly joint, you get it back that far. Very, very nice. Going forward, that far. So it's always a pleasure to have some fun with these articulated joints right in here. You do get a 360 rotation, as well as a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and of course the standard Mafex wrist peg to give you your horizontal movement, your rotation. You can swivel the wrist on there and then change that to a vertical. So that's always good. With the upper torso, you can shift forward that far. She does shift back quite a considerable amount. This is a very lithe figure, very tiny. She does feel a little bit fragile, but definitely nothing like I've heard from the Mafex Miles Morales. She does still feel sturdy. Just be a little gentle with her because she is tiny. With that upper diaphragm, you do also get your side-to-side tilt, as well as rotation. And then with her lower diaphragm, you can tilt forward that far, tilt back that far. Of course, she gets more tilt. And then that is also capable of rotating. So all together, she bends forward this far, back that far. She can tilt to the side that far on each side. And then, of course, there's rotation. Her hips, bumped the camera there, my bad. Her hips are on a drop down, so she can kick up that far. She can kick back that far, a little bit hindered by the butt sculpt there. She can kick out almost exactly 90 degrees. And then that does shift back up. There's actually also a hidden, let's see, let's pull this off, shall we? There we go. If you can see right in there, there's a hidden thigh rotation. So we'll get that oriented back the right way. Slide that back up. And then, nice look there. She does, of course, have a double jointed knee, so she can kick back that far. And her ankles are on the same style joint that her wrists are on, so she can move her ankle forward that far. Her ankles move back. Slide her foot back on there, not pop it off, that far. She does have ankle rocker off the pin, and then if you want, you can move that joint and manipulate that to also give you some ankle rocker that way. So as long as you're fine with the tilt on the foot there, you can pretty much manipulate her ankle to do whatever you wish. And she does also come with a toe pivot. So very nice, very lithe. It's nice to finally have a flexible Gwen Stacy here, since she is a very agile character, even more so than, say, Peter Parker, because she has that more ballerina dancer-esque form, so she's very lithe and light on her feet. Getting into accessories here, first off, we will start with hands. She does come with a set of fists, as well as a set of relaxed hands. Set her to the side right here. she comes with a set of web line holding hands. And of course, with web line holding hands, she is included with 2 of these web lines here. So those can slide on into her hands without a problem. You can get your web slingshot or your web line swinging, anything you really want with those. She gets the long flipping web. She has 2 of those. And of course, she also has a shorter flipping web. So really the Mafex standard here. But being that this is more of the comic oriented, I believe these actually are the comic web lines, just in a brighter white for the Spiderverse. But do not quote me on that. I actually do not have any comic versions of any Mafex Spider-Man figures. That's just what they look like to me. Getting back to the hands, you have slightly more open and posed, relaxing hands. So that could be your action-oriented hands, your grabbing hands, whatever you want to do with those. Of course, what would any spider character be without a set of flipping hands? And I do very much like what Mafex is doing nowadays with these little bars that they have here to keep the hands together. That is very nice. We do have wide splayed out finger hands, so these are your more action-oriented or your swinging kind of hands. You get a set of wall-crawling hands, which do look very familiar to the, or not familiar, similar to the splayed out hands, but as you can see here, the fingers are kind of pressed a little bit more. A little extra curvature to those digits there. And Mafex being Mafex, you do also get a set of magnetic wall-crawling hands to slap your figures onto the fridge, or your lamp, or wherever you'd like to stick them. And with those magnetic hands, she also gets a set of magnetic feet. To swap the feet out is very easy, not nearly as hard as it was on previous releases of any figures. Just slides right off. Take her foot, line up the peg, and just ease it right on. And there you go. Now she has her magnetic foot, which I'm going to go ahead and replace yet again, just to keep it clean. But that's nice and easy. Setting her feet to the side here. To replace her hands, same thing. Nice just friction peg, not too loose, not too tight. And when you're done with these, they just slide right back onto the little clear bar there. And here is a relaxed hand. You just slide that right on, no problems. So there we go. Gwen Stacy is also included with an alternate masked head sculpt. So to replace that, all you want to do is lift the hood, make sure you're holding her neck, pop that right off, and let me grab my tweezers here, because it can be a little tricky to get this head sculpt out. There's a better look at her regular wide-eyed head sculpt there. And of course there is the magnet on the back of the head, and there is actually also a magnet in the hood, so that way the hood stays with the head when you're articulating it. Let's get you a closer look at the squinted head sculpt here. Very nice. Get it to focus. There you go. Very nicely done. And to swap that, you simply clack that into place. Line up the neck through the hood. Make sure you've got it in the right area. And just pop that right on. And now she has her squinting or glaring kind of head sculpt there. But that is not all. with your Gwen Stacy, you can remove the neck. And she does come included with a unmasked head sculpt here, with the additional neck piece required for that. And considering she has her maskless head sculpt, she also has the sculpted hood down. So the way I like to put this on is I will take the hood, slide that over the neck, and then get that lined up with the peg on the torso, and just press down. And now you have your Gwen Stacy with her mask off. And this head sculpt, in my opinion, looks fantastic. To me, it looks like they dead-on nailed the likeness that she has in the movie. She has her shaved head there with the nice color differentiation. She does have shading in her blonde hair. Now on this head sculpt, she does have her teeth showing a little bit. She's kind of got that smirk, a little bit of a cracked, kind of cocky smile there. But this is actually not the only unmasked head sculpt she comes included with, so you can go ahead and remove that. And she does come with a more neutral, kind of a lighter smiling head sculpt as such. So very nice. If you look behind her hair there, they also did paint the eyebrow piercing that she has in the movie. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get it to focus for you. Let's see. Work with me here. There you go. You can see it very faint right there under this lock of hair. That's looking very nice as well. So let's go ahead and step into our size comparisons. We'll get Gwen Stacy standing there with Spider-Ham up front. And we'll go ahead and compare our Mafex Spider-Ham with the Marvel Legends Spider-Ham. He is considerably smaller, but in my opinion, that's actually the superior sculpt, and he can stand without a problem, unlike if you want to articulate the Marvel Legends one, he just falls down. You can't move his head. Because reasons. Setting him aside here, we will keep Spider-Ham up front because he is part of the gang. Let's go ahead and get Gwen Stacy here with a couple of her variations in the Marvel Legends Gwen pool, as well as the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Gwen Stacy. So as you can see, this is supposed to be a younger Gwen Stacy, so she is a little bit shorter, about half a head shorter than her counterparts here. Getting these two out of the way, we will put her next to Peter Parker's other love interest, Mary Jane Watson. If she'd like to stand, that'd be fantastic. There we go. As you can see, Mary Jane is considerably larger than she is just because of different scales and different bucks. So Mary Jane is quite large, but if you did want to use this Mary Jane as the Spiderverse Mary Jane, I think you could get away with it. Go ahead and getting her right on out of here. Let's get her with one of the villains from Spider-Verse, the only villain that we've gotten so far, the Marvel Legends Prowler. And he is quite large compared to her, but that's also pretty nice, so he's nice and imposing compared to our Gwen Stacy here. Let's get her with her Spider counterparts here from the Marvel Legends line. We have the Marvel Legends Miles Morales and the Marvel Legends Peter B. Parker. And if we scoot our Hobo Spider-Man over just a little bit here, last but not least, we do have the Marvel Legends Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy. And while that Gwen Stacy was nice for the time when it came out, let's all be real here, the Mafex is just leaps and bounds ahead of anything else out on the market right now. She looks fantastic. Our likenesses knock it out of the park. She feels nice and sturdy, a little bit fragile. I haven't had any breakages. I have seen a couple people have a slight knee issue here and there, but I honestly have not heard any of the Medicom Mafex quality control issues that have plagued the line previously. Again, she looks fantastic. She fits in with your other characters. Definitely worth a pickup. Has the recommendation from me. Stay safe, everybody. Happy collecting.